You have fantastic taste in clothes.
I was just gonna say, you got the memo. Finally.
Well, I'm pretty sure that I'm not the... there's been times I had the GameFront shirt on and you didn't.
Yeah, but there was no memo to put during those times.
Well, you didn't
I specifically send a memo every time I wear a GameFront shirt. You just decide to ignore it.
I wouldn't say ignore it. I just don't notice it. It's not like I see it and put it in my trash folder. I would never put your...
You put it in your trash folder?
No, I'm saying I would never do that.
I don't know why you would mention it. If you have a trash folder that you specifically use, put messages from me inside of it.
I don't, Mitch. I'm telling you seriously that I don't filter any of your things. I don't screen your calls. When you call, I answer.
I'm watching you. GameFront!
Update!
GameFront!
Update!
You know what else is always watching you?
What?
The Kinect.
The Kinect. Well,
actually, no, it's not. It's that was one of the things that we learned today. That was a segue into what we were going to talk about for this GameFront update. Microsoft just came out with a whole list of official statements, finally clearing up what exactly the Xbox One is all about.
Okay, I read the statements.
Yeah.
But I'd rather you go through them.
Okay, so
I'll because you have such organized note taking.
Let's just knock these out one at a time.
All right.
So, same day digital downloads. When a game comes out, you can buy it digitally, or you can buy it at a retail store. No more waiting for it to become a Xbox, digital release, which happens like 2 months after a game comes out, and no one really cares about it anymore anyway. So first day, you can buy a game online.
Is that supposed to be a surprise? I mean, is that not what...
No.
That's where we've been going.
Yeah, it's
consistently.
It's silly that they actually mention it as like something they're proud about. Like this is the natural evolution.
We've got a new way we're going to let you buy things. Hooray!
Plus, I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 3 has been doing that for a while now.
I mean, not all their games, but a lot of them, and it feels.
I would say most of them. It feels like.
Yeah.
Would you say? Yeah.
I would say the majority.
Yeah. So yeah, that's who cares. Games library accessible from any Xbox One when you're using your gamertag. Again, makes sense. It seems like the logical, right thing to do.
It seems like it, but that's not the way the PlayStation works.
Oh, it's not?
No, like you're only allowed to use your PlayStation gamertag on 2 PlayStations.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And you have to go online, deactivate one.
PlayStation 3. We don't know about PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. This is PlayStation 3.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean,
I think that's pretty good. I think that's actually addresses the biggest concern of mine about being able to go to a friend's house and play a game.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone can play your games on your console regardless of who is signed in. Again, that's nice.
That honestly, that shouldn't have even needed to be explained. That should have been a given.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been a bullet point, but whatever. There you go. This one's interesting because I don't know how they're going to do this. You can add 10 family members and let them play your games from anywhere.
Mm-hmm. I feel like my interpretation of this is kind of like PlayStation 3's thing, where you have 2 consoles that you activate yourself on. Except they're extending it to 10.
10? That's a lot, though. You think that I am immediately skeptical of anything that makes Microsoft look like a very generous company.
Well, there's a couple stipulations to that. First of all, you have to be friends with them for more than 30 days, so you can't
I don't know if that was that wasn't part of this thing. That's something else.
Well, I believe those things are very much related.
Well, because how are let's say someone just gets an Xbox One and they didn't have a 360. They just create their gamer tag. Are you saying that they cannot set this up until they're friends with 10 people for 30 days?
That is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that there's probably people will be able to play at their system, on their system, but until they've established a long-term relationship, which, let's face it, 30 days is not what I would consider a long-term relationship.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's something I think that they again need to clear up.
Yeah, and that is me speculating. I don't know for sure. That's my interpretation of it.
Yeah. All right, now we get into the big thing: trade-ins and resales. I think this is really interesting. They are now saying that it is up to publishers to decide if you can resell a game or let a friend borrow your game. Now, this could be interesting. I think that this could be all right if the publishers have sense and they decide, look, we don't want people reselling the game a month or two after the game comes out. And, bringing it to GameStop, they'll mark it down $5. You can buy a used copy for $55, and then a new copy for $60. If they do that, maybe set a window for like two maybe 3 months, and then let retailers set their own used prices. I think that's all right.
I agree with that.
If they just say, "Fuck it, we're not gonna let any used games. We're not gonna let you, lend games out," I think that's stupid. I think that would be really, really dumb.
It'll be bad PR on those publishers' behalf.
Yeah, but I think it's an interesting move by Microsoft to say, "Hey, you know what? We're not the bad guys. The publishers are the bad guys."
And it's also freeing them up to be like that, but at the same time, they're also making it explicit, we're not making money off of this. So it's not a tool that Xbox is using to try to make money off of. It's something that they're trying to do to support third-party companies.
Yeah, I guarantee that the only reason why used games are an issue for Microsoft is because they get these third-party publishers barking at them saying, "Do something about this. This is hurting us." But yeah, were you going to continue?
That's exactly what I was saying. Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling, I mean, to me, I didn't know how Microsoft would be making money off of this, because if they were charging like a surcharge on there, they would look so bad, taking extra money from the publishers, because, I mean, as a console comes out, you need a very strong relationship with all of your third-party developers. Otherwise, it goes kind of the way that the original Genesis went, where and Nintendo's had problems with that.
Nintendo's having problems with that right now.
Yeah, and that's because they have bad relationships with the people that they have on their systems.
I think Nintendo's issue is not so much bad relationships. I think the problem with Nintendo is that they need to prove to publishers that it is worth supporting the Wii U. And they have not done that because not enough people are buying Wii U's. Mm-hmm. In order for people to buy Wii U, in order for people to buy Wii U's, there need to be games on the Wii U. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of this monster of, in order to have games, you need publishers. In order to have publishers, you need games.
Yeah. Well, what I'm referencing, I misspoke when I said Genesis and Sega.
Did you mean Dreamcast?
No. I meant, actually, Sega kind of went what was the answer, because when Nintendo first came out back in the 80s, they made it extremely difficult for people to publish games on their system. And to the fact that since at that time Nintendo was pretty close to the only really home console that people were, it was almost a monopoly. And they would have people submit to them, and they would just say, okay, well, this game is too similar to something that is a first-party game, so we're just not going to approve it. Yeah. So what happened was they found a way to play these games on a different console, which was, I believe, it might have been the Sega Master System, but I think it was the Sega Genesis. I'm not sure. You can look up this information. But basically, they broke down how the Nintendo games were working, and they were showing that they could play these games on a different console. It was behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the story well enough to explain it, but I do encourage people to look up the story. I think it was EA that originally approached Nintendo about this back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. After this episode, I'm going to look into it because I don't remember the story, but there's a really cool story behind that.
All right. Well, to get back, not to derail, but to get back on track to the Xbox, we also should mention the 30-day thing. The 30-day thing with the friends was relating to letting a friend, basically giving a friend your game. Mm-hmm. So you can do that, but you can only do it once per game. Mm-hmm. And the person that you give it to has to be a friend on your Xbox, live friend list for 30 days. Mm-hmm. Not super stoked on that.
It's weird. I don't quite understand it.
Can you imagine the nightmare that this is going to cause for Xbox Live support team?
It's going to be bad. The reason I think that this will, because if they're going to have those rules on friends that can only use it once, don't you think they would have those same rules applied for your family plan? of the 10 consoles.
I
would
don't
just
know.
assume that they would have stricter ones for an entire library than they would for just one lending. The other thing that they didn't say in that, which I'm sure either they're going to keep under wraps and explain to us when it comes out or not, but how long can you lend it to a person? Because you can give it to them
No,
once.
well, that's the thing. It's not lending. They're not saying lending. They're saying giving. You have to be giving this to your friend. They say down at the bottom, loaning and renting not possible at lunch, but we are examining or exploring opportunities. So yeah, this is just if you have a game and you say, hey, it's your birthday, take this. You can just keep it.
Mm-hmm. And you can well, of course you can only give it to somebody once, because if you say, hey, it's your birthday, have this, and then you're like, let me give it to you again, they already have it, you don't.
Well,
So you have
no,
to buy another copy.
they then.
They can't give it back to you.
Yeah.
Oh, they can't give it to
anyone
anyone.
else. Yeah.
All right, that makes more sense. I don't know.
That's my interpretation of it.
I'm actually, I mean, I don't want to side with them. I think that's better than nothing. Because that kind of was how, when I was growing up, and I grew up in a kind of a different era, is when I would beat a game, I would trade it with a friend, and whenever they gave it back to me, I probably wasn't going to play it that much. Because I, at the time, would play a game till I was exhausted, give it away, basically trade it for something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's weird, but I think it's better than saying you can't lend a game to somebody at all.
Well, no, they are saying you can't.
Yeah,
lend
I'm
it.
sorry. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think it's better than saying you can't. Like, it's better to be able to just give it to them than not be able to lend it to them.
Yeah. Okay, and then what else? And then the other big thing is the verification process. So there was a rumor floating around that Xbox One would be an always online console. Not technically true, but it's kind of the same effect. Basically, what happens is the console needs to do 24-hour online checks. If it checks and you're online, you've got 24 hours where you can game offline as much as you want. But once that 24-hour period happens again and it does the check, and if you're not online, then it basically shuts down the Xbox One as a gaming console. You can still do TV stuff and movie stuff, but you cannot play games with it until it once again has internet verification.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that. I mean, it's. I think it's petty. I don't think that they should make it once a day. I would say once a week, maybe. But I mean, there's going to be times where you're going like on vacation and you're maybe you're going to like grandma's house and she doesn't have internet because she's grandma. And you want to
or you're taking it to like a hotel or something. You're going on vacation.
I didn't want to say that, but I do. When I go on vacation, I bring my video games with me. I was embarrassed to say it. But yeah, and if you want to play video games, you got to pay like the $30 a day fee for internet at the hotel. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is kind of ridiculous.
And then what if you're moving to a new apartment and it takes like a week to get your cable installed and stuff? Yeah. Or you're moving.
Or you live in a part of the U.S. or wherever else you live that doesn't have internet. Believe it or not, there are places in the U.S. that don't have internet connection. They don't have the infrastructure for it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
At all?
At all.
I would say that you would be able to at least get wireless, like satellite internet, right?
I don't know.
I would ask if there's anybody out there that knows of even a friend in the U.S. that... And I understand that there's some families that don't have the money for internet, and it's easy to say, well, then if you don't got the money for internet, don't get an Xbox. Well, let's just be honest. Some people want an Xbox more than internet.
Yeah.
So, like, do you know of a place that has no internet access, not even like through what is the satellite one, DirecTV?
I don't know.
There's some that don't require any cords or anything. I find it hard to believe that there's anywhere that has no internet at all. But you have to pay for it. What if you don't want to buy internet? What if you get all the internet you need when you're at school or when you're at work or something?
I'll tell you what if. The answer is you don't get an Xbox One!
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. And then the other big thing was the whole thing with the Kinect, and people were saying that it would require to be always on. That's not true. You can turn off the Kinect. You can set it so that it doesn't... The only thing that it will recognize is Xbox on.
Now, This is going to be the devil's advocate here. Is if it's only listening for you to say Xbox on, doesn't it also have to hear? Doesn't it always have to hear all those things to make sure that you're not saying Xbox on?
You basically have to trust Microsoft that they are not recording.
But you can even turn that feature off so it's not on.
I think so. Yeah, they said that you can also turn that feature off,
and that you also had to give it explicit permission to share anything on there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to me, I don't know why anybody would share things if you have to give it permission. Like, how are they going to get people to share? Mm-hmm. And I know from where, I don't know where, little birds, like I'm a spider in Game of Thrones, have told me that there is marketing companies out there, and they are being told that there's information going to be available about when you're watching TV. And your heart rate change and like what gets you engaged. Mm-hmm. Now, who's going to give permission to those companies to get their information from the Kinect? Unless it's like some sort of like Zynga style gaming where it's like, okay, it's free to play. All you need to do is put these 10 sensors on your face, and you can play Call of Duty for free. I'd do it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I had written down. I think that's pretty much all there is to talk about in terms of the Xbox news. We would love to hear what you guys have to think about it. As always, I know we've kind of been hitting this Microsoft horse a lot recently. That's probably not even the best way to say it.
Hitting a horse? No, that'll get us in trouble with PETA for sure.
But you know, it keeps popping up in the news, and finally, you know, this can be the definitive GameFront update on the Microsoft information, because the previous one that we did was entirely outdated and wrong information.
I have a feeling that there'll be even one more. I think that this will be a trilogy.
Maybe.
A trilogy, because there's going to be more info brought out. Come on, Mitch. Let's be realistic.
You're probably right. I do think they also have to clarify this whole 10 family members thing. Because right now there's a whole bunch of interpretations you can use for that. Do we have time? Do you want to mention the other big piece of news that came out?
I mean, why not? So, if you're ready to stop, go ahead and stop watching.
Stop.
If you want some more news, come on and stay with us.
Keep it rolling. So they made a big deal today about the casting of Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5, Metal Gear Solid 5, and it's Kiefer Sutherland of 24 fame.
Of 24 what?
Fame. Yeah. He's probably been in other things. Phone Booth, I know. Dark City, was it? Do you know?
I don't know if it was Dark City. I remember him being in, I think, Sleepers? No.
Maybe.
He was in a lot. I mean, he's been in a lot.
He's a prolific Hollywood actor.
And he's been in a lot of video games, too.
Yeah, he's been a good amount of video games. The big thing is it's not David Hayter. Mm-hmm. That has made a couple of people upset, because David Hayter has been the voice of Solid Snake throughout the entire lineage of the Metal Gear franchise.
Metal Gear Solid 1?
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think they would have had voice in that one.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is, a lot of people are complaining about it because, Kojima said that they wanted a new actor for Solid Snake because they wanted to, like, it was a new portrayal of Snake. I think they said they wanted a younger sounding voice. Kiefer Sutherland does not sound young.
No, that guy does not sound younger.
And then the other contradicting piece of info there is that the Japanese voice actor for Solid Snake is still, or for Snake, I shouldn't say Solid Snake, is still the same. So
it's just like they're hatering David Hayter.
Because his last name is Hayter. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm a little. I don't like the idea of. First of all, I don't like the idea of a long-standing mainstay of the series being pushed aside for a Hollywood actor. The other thing that concerns me is that I know that Kiefer Sutherland is charging a much bigger paycheck than David Hayter ever would, and it worries me about the cost of Metal Gear Solid 5.
You think they're going to charge an extra $5?
No, but we
call it the Kiefer charge.
We just had the issue of Tomb Raider, selling amazingly It's like five point something million units in the first month, and then Square Enix coming out and saying, "Oh man, Tomb Raider did not hit its marks. It did not perform to our expectations." Like 5 point whatever million units. That's like 5 times more than most of the video games could ever dream of reaching in their entire lifespan. Mm-hmm. So
was there like a big actress in Tomb Raider or something?
I wouldn't say a big actress, but
husky actress.
she was of moderate notoriety. I think she's an actress on a TV show. I don't remember which one. But yeah, and then the other thing that kind of makes me not too thrilled about it is it kind of sets the precedence of people who build up their career as a voiceover actor for video games. They kind of get their jobs pushed aside in favor of these Hollywood A-listers. And
it's been happening for a while though, Mitch. I mean, I can't. I think.
I've always had a problem with it because I really don't think that the Hollywood A-listers really do a better job than the voice actors.
I don't know. I thought Samuel L. Jackson did an amazing job in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yeah. I mean that was fine, but I think for the most part, like Dishonored had a whole bunch of celebrities. Do you think Dishonored? Did you play Dishonored?
No, I didn't play it.
I don't think Dishonored had any better voice acting than any other game out there. In fact, I would say it probably had less than stellar voice acting.
Yeah, it does worry me to have so many stars taking over those roles but I feel the same way with the movie industry. I feel like they need to give more people opportunities. I mean, do we really need to have them in every movie? And there could be one baby that I could be in. But I think that them infiltrating into video games makes it a more difficult place to stand out in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I agree with you on that. But I don't think they do a bad job. I really enjoy some of the famous people in video games. Yeah.
Would you say that they do good enough of a job to justify being paid as much as they are compared to other voice actors?
You want the honest truth? I feel like all actors and voiceover actors are overpaid.
Really?
I think that it's sad how much they're paid. They should not be paid nearly as much. I think writers probably deserve more money, maybe the same amount they're getting, but it's all about being extravagant. You want artists to be hungry, and maybe not poor to the point where they have to eat like I do, but you don't, why do they need so much? Mm-hmm. I think that we could all take a pay cut and live a little bit more.
Not us.
Not us.
Not us. God,
not
no.
us.
Not
not
us. Please. Don't cut our pay.
Mark, please. Just a little bit more even. Maybe a penny. But, I mean, at some point in time, why do you need so much money? Uh-huh. I just don't agree with it. And that goes, I would say, further into sports and all things. I think we could all use a little bit more of a humble attitude about what we're doing. It's like us, we aren't being super overpaid, but we're playing video games. Do we deserve $1 million a year? No, absolutely not. Does somebody doing an acting job deserve it? No, not unless they're Jackie Chan doing all their own stunts and risking their lives. If you're risking your lives, cops. As much as I'm paranoid of cops. But they deserve more money than an actor, and so does a fireman.
You should hear him go on his rants about cops.
Well, mostly it's meter maids.
He hates cops.
Let's careful, guys. That's not entirely true. I really despise meter maids. But even them, they may be decent human beings. Sorry. I don't even have a car, but I hate meter maids so much. But those people are risking their lives and doing something that I think is important. I think art is important, but I think art is something that if you're an artist, you don't have a choice. You need to be out there expressing yourself. If you get a paycheck, that should be something that you're very thankful for and not looking for a bigger paycheck. Mm-hmm. Period.
Well said. All right, guys, we're going to end this GameFront update.
And military people.
And veterinarians.
Okay. They risk their lives sometimes, yes.
Those dogs are dangerous. Mm-hmm. But yeah, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like,
comment,
and subscribe.
Bye.
Quick match. Here we go. There we are. You guys are in big trouble. I'm coming for you. I grew up on the streets. Used to race with my feet.
That sounds really hot.
It is. It's really hot. But today I'm racing in a car.
Nice.
Good.
So nice.
Can't
Do you have a fur affinity?
Say again?
Do you have a fur affinity?
A fur affinity?
Yes, are you a furry?
Oh, I mean, I dress in fur.
Okay, so you're a pimp.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Are you a furry?
No, I'm not. Thank you very much.
Why were you referring? Get to it. That was pretty funny. Referring to it.
That pun makes me want to vomit.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. You know what else is going to make you want to vomit?
What?
How far behind me you are when I'm passing the finish line.
That makes no sense and starting to get creepy.